Hi everyone, my name is Araceli and welcome to my channel. Today is going to be a video on how to network and how to find a job during COVID. I'm going to start off with a little intro and a little disclaimer. So first off, I recently graduated from University of Portland and I got 2 degrees, one in mechanical engineering and one in electrical engineering, and I now work for a tech company. So my job is now heavily focused on electrical engineering, but I wanted to film this video just to kind of give you guys some tips on how to network virtually. I think a lot of these tips can be used also once real life resumes, right? So, and by real life, I mean when things are back to normal. I have some notes here, so if I look down, that's what I'm looking at. And I also want to say I am by no means an expert. I graduated with an engineering degree, so obviously these tips come from that background, and a lot of these have been gathered from conferences that I have attended, workshops that I have attended, and all this knowledge that I've gathered through my 4 years at a university. I definitely focused on personal development and career development. So that's where these tips are coming from if you're curious, and now let's get right to it. First and foremost, I think that it's very important to set those networking objectives right away before you do anything else. So what are you trying to get out of networking? And you'll start by defining them and really believing in them. And by that, I mean, what is it that you really want to get out of in the end, and why do you want that? So an example is my networking is to find people who can help me with service research, internships, in order to find a research position or internship abroad as measured by landing the job by November 15th. And that could be a metric or milestone. You want to make sure that these objectives are measurable in the end. And an important note is that you always want to come back to them. So I know that I would often set goals or objectives and I would never go back to them, and they kind of just like floated away. But now, in really believing in myself and believing in my goals and what I want to get out of my career, my education, I have realized that you have to constantly reflect on those objectives that you set at the beginning and why you wanted them. Now that you've set your networking objectives, the next thing is, okay, where do I begin? And I am a firm believer in LinkedIn or any sort of social networking that is now being, I guess, focused on as career and job listings. So my favorite is LinkedIn, but my university also had an application called Handshake, and it worked very similar. The whole point of these two applications that I personally have had experience with, I'm sure there's many others that you could Google, but these two are well known and can almost guarantee that you will find something in your field. After you have signed up for LinkedIn, for example, you want to make sure that you're reaching out to the right people. And by right people, I mean who could lead you, what possible connection could lead you to your end goal. Now, your end goal could be, I want to be a biologist for a pharma tech company, or I want to be a chemical engineer for the gas industry. So you want to make sure that you are targeting your desired field. So you're not just adding randos with no information on a position that you could apply for. So your connections have to be intentional. You want to be able to build your network that leads you to your end goal. So recruiters are one of the main groups of people that you want to be targeting. So you can honestly just look up Google recruiter, and honestly there's going to be some pop-ups that come up, and the way that these come up is that in their job description they are going to have I am a recruiter for Google. So that is how they come up. So you want to be very direct in your research. Now, once you find these recruiters, you do not want to start this way. Hi, I was wondering if you are hiring. Here's a little bit about me. I can send you my resume and you can let me know if I'm a good match. That's not how you want to start approaching these companies that you want to work for. That's an immediate turnoff. They're going to be like, I'm not doing this work for you. Who are you? I don't know you. You just added me, etc. So you want to make this very easy and direct for them so that they don't feel like you're using them in a way, and that you're just connecting with them because here's my resume. No. So once you have gone to this company's website and you have found a list of jobs that you could potentially apply for or already applied for, you should really be using LinkedIn as a second step. So once you have applied and you have reached out to this recruiter and you're on the second step, a way to approach them is to, I'm kind of going to give you an example of what you could say. So you could say, hi, I hope you do not mind me reaching out, but blank, insert dream company there, is my dream company. I have followed the work blank has been doing, and I am impressed with the quality and goals you are all setting. I recently came across job requisition number, and I believe that I fit the experience and skills needed to excel in this position, such as, and then list a bunch of skills. I've applied for the position, but I wanted to personally reach out and see if there is anything more that I can do, as I'm sure you have received a lot of interest in this position. Thank you for your time, and I hope you take care. Best. Insert name. So that is very, like, if someone reached out to me and I was a recruiter, I would automatically be like, this person took the time to apply for the job, didn't send me their resume, and reached out to me as kind of like, what more can I do? It wasn't, what can I do for you type of situation, which you're not making that recruiter's life harder than it already is, because I'm sure that they have so many messages they get a day from people who are applying, especially right now, and the last thing they want to do is go through a lot of resumes that have already been in the application pool through their company's website, and now it's just like twice as work for them. So you do not want to do that. Now, another thing you can do to network on LinkedIn is search your desired company and employees will pop up. Start with asking current employees for mentorship. And a way to do this is, you don't want to just say, hey, I want you to be my mentor. That is not what you want to say. You want it to be very organic and very natural. So you want to start by sending them a message with a little introduction about you and kind of the highlights on what you think they should know about you. And then once you've kind of started bouncing back and forth and asking them about them first, then you can say, you know, I really aspire to be in the career place that you are at. How can I do that? Do you mind mentoring me through this process? That's a lot more natural than just saying, hey, mentor me. So you can definitely reach out to current managers, current leaders in your desired field and ask them about their journey, and they will most likely help you find your way. I have never had an instance where someone was rude when I asked them to mentor me or help me. You just have to make sure that you're not treating them as if you're using them just to get the job, because they'll notice that right away, and it'll be a huge turnoff and you will get nowhere with that. So do not do that. And another group of people you should really be connecting with and keeping in touch with is going to be your professors, especially during this time, because they may have connections and they may honestly have a position open at your university that pays well, has benefits or something, and you kind of didn't even consider them, right? Especially during these times, you want to make sure that you are applying to a wide range of positions based on your skill set. And that doesn't mean just apply to any job you see, but be more intentional with it. So don't just apply to any job, but be intentional. See, what could I see myself working for? You just have to Google, and Google is your best friend. And this is not sponsored by LinkedIn or Google, by the way. I'm just a huge fan of this process. So LinkedIn and Handshake, it's all about meeting people who are where you want to be and connecting with them. You do not want to be just connecting with randos. You want to be very intentional. And I'm going to say that all the time throughout this video, because being intentional with this process is what's going to make you different from everyone else. Another tip is to always draft your message on a Google Doc or Word doc and make sure that you triple check it for any mistakes that you possibly could have written in that message before sending it out to anyone on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a very professional world and you want to make sure that you seem as professional as them and someone that they would actually like to work with. And a tip that you might want to send in your first message is your elevator pitch. And if you've never heard of an elevator pitch, it's a 30-second introduction of yourself, hitting all the highlights that you would want someone else to know about you. So some common things that you could have based on being a college student would be your major, your year in school, some of the clubs you're in, and then some other skill sets that you have acquired based on your coursework. So those are some things that you would put in your elevator pitch. And then you want to make sure that you add some things in there that make you different from everyone else, because keep in mind, so many people are applying to the job that you are applying for, and you have to constantly think about what makes you different. Okay, moving on to some tips on what you can do during this time of quarantine and stay at home. I recommend that you use this time to your best of your abilities. You want to make sure that you are honing in your skills, and those could be like coding in Python or learning Spanish or technical writing. And this is really a time to work on developing any soft skills as well. Soft skills can be used across all industries, no matter if you're going for something very technical or something not technical at all. You want to have soft skills. And empathy, that's one that I hear a lot from people that I've been interviewed by, is that that's a skill that a lot of people lack. And that's really surprising, because we'll have projects in school and yet people don't focus on this skill set. So a really technical person still needs to have those soft skills for any job. And I will do a separate video on how to practice those technical skills and soft skills in a completely separate video, because it's going to take some more time than I'm allotting for in this video. Now, another thing you can be doing with your time is really perfecting your resume. So going through your resume that you may have not touched in years or months, and updating it and really going through it, making sure that your grammar is good, that your objectives are true, and something that you can be doing is tailoring your resume to each position that you apply for. And again, this is going to be a separate video on how to make your resume different, but still just amazing as you're applying for multiple jobs. So that will be a separate video because it's going to take a lot longer to go through it all. And let's say now you have your resume good to go. The next thing you can be doing is to get a friend or a family member on the phone and do a mock interview with them. I think this is really cool. I should probably still be doing this even though I have a job, is practicing my interviewing skills, because those are skills that you should really keep sharp because you never know when you're going to need to interview again. A way to do these mock interviews is just look up some interview questions. There are different types: behavioral, team focused, technical. You're going to have a different interview for each position. They're not all going to be the same. So you want to make sure that you're practicing all sorts of methods for interviewing. One tip with this is that you want to make sure that you are reaching out to someone who's going to be very honest. So this may not be your mom. I know it wouldn't be my mom because she would just tell me I'm great, and that's not what I want to hear. I want to hear, what did I do wrong? What can I improve on? And what am I actually doing well? And you can ask them to rate you. And another cool thing is you can use FaceTime and dress up and treat it like a full-on real interview, because you never know if in the coming weeks a company reaches out to you and wants to interview you via Skype or Microsoft Teams or something, and you need to actually dress well, probably from the waist up, but you still need to look like you are being professional and treating it like an interview, like an in-person one. So that's something that you can do, and you can use FaceTime to practice eye contact, practice posture. It's really an amazing tool. So that's something I recommend you do with your time. Along with that, I would actually recommend that you find a friend who is in a similar field to you and quiz each other on technical interviews, or use a mentor that you already have in your field and ask them to quiz you and practice some of those interviewing questions that may come up that are a little more complicated or a little trickier, so that you are ready for your real interview. Practice those trick questions. Practice answering questions such as, what is your worst skill? What is your best skill? And another common one is, if you had to choose between quality of a project and the time in which it's completed, which one would you choose? That's a very common question to ask. And again, you can Google these. You can Google interviewing trick questions, and a lot of examples are going to pop up. And as you are looking up those questions that employers may ask you, you want to make sure that you are looking up questions that you can ask your employer. So this can be, what is the best way to obtain a position with your company? What types of training would I need to focus to be to excel in this role that I'm applying for? Or what is your company culture like? That is my favorite question to ask in any interview ever, because I want to make sure that not only am I a good fit for the company, but that the company is a good fit for me, because at the end of the day, you're the one working for them, and you have to be there the majority of your day. In all honesty, you're going to be spending a lot of time at work. So you want to make sure that their company culture is not toxic, that you feel comfortable, that you feel like you can have a voice. And this is especially true for people of color. You want to make sure that your company values you. Yeah, that's something that I always ask, is company culture. It is key to making you excel in your work. And as you are preparing for your interviews and reaching out to recruiters, reaching out to current employees, you want to make sure that you are doing your in-depth research on these companies. You want to look at things such as their strategy, their products, valued questions from the companies. So most, if not all, companies have their core values listed on their website. Now, LinkedIn Learning. A lot of people kind of forget this tool even exists, but it's one of my favorite things ever, because as long as you sign up with your university email that ends in .edu, then you can use LinkedIn Learning for free. And what LinkedIn Learning does is that they literally have crash courses on any topic that you can think of, like learning how to code in a new language, or public speaking, or how to advance your career. They literally have anything from career development to personal development, and it's a great tool. And if you ever have any questions, you can just comment down below on this video, and I'm happy to answer your questions as well. If you are curious on what type of questions your company may ask you, and you're nervous because you've never had an interview, this is very common, to just be afraid of interviews. I was like this at first as well, but honestly, interviewing is kind of one of my favorite things. I feel very comfortable in them now. Glassdoor.com and Salary.com are great resources as well, especially if you have a few offers and you're trying to see which one is the best fit for you. And let's say salary is a huge component of which one you say yes to, then you can actually go onto these websites and you can see similar job postings, or even the same job posting, and it'll say what type of salary is expected for that. So that's a great tool to make sure that you are not going to be underpaid and that your offer is legit, because honestly, it's important for companies to be transparent in their salary, and I'm a huge believer in this and being vocal about what your pay is like, because a lot of companies will not pay people the same rate that they should be doing. Let's say they have the same position and one is being paid a lot more than the other, then that discrepancy is something that you should actually talk to your employer about. Meetup.com is actually another amazing tool if you're looking to really develop your personal and career skills and goals. Then Meetup.com is amazing for events in your area, and a lot of places didn't completely shut down their events. They actually just transferred them to being virtual. So you can still go to a virtual event. I don't know why I did air quotes, but you can go to an event online and still get that same experience, still get the exact same speeches, get the exact same notes you would have taken. And this is an amazing tip. I actually loved that when I was in college, and I actually am going to try and use it more this summer because it's a great tool. Now, one last thing that you should really be doing with your time is creating some projects, creating any side projects that you can talk about in your interview, or any projects that you can talk about when you're talking to your mentors that you're trying to reach out to, your future mentors, or any current employee. You want to make sure that you are sounding very professional, and something that really helps is having those side projects that were not part of your curriculum, because that's going to make you different from every other student. Because yes, I had projects in my engineering courses, but so did every other classmate of mine, right? So you want to make sure that you're doing more than just the basics. And if it's code, you should post it on GitHub and be able to share it with employers and be able to talk about it. So if it's art, make a portfolio of your art. Make it really nice and easy, make it digital so that you can share it virtually. Honestly, just having things that set you apart from everyone else is going to be huge. And then when you do connect on LinkedIn, make sure that you send that person a message. Don't just leave the connection hanging. I have done this numerous amounts of times, and you don't want to treat LinkedIn like adding friends on Facebook. You want to connect. That is literally the purpose of networking, is connecting with people and building relationships, not treating them a means to an end. You want to be you want to be honest, you want to be authentic. You don't want to come off as like, oh, I just need this from you, so I'm gonna connect and I hope you reach out to me. That's not what you want to do. You want to be very, very professional and very intentional. So make sure that you send your message. Do not just connect with someone and not do anything, because they will probably unfriend you later once they go through and see, oh, this person never reached out to me, so I'm just gonna unfriend them. And that's not what you want. So do something that a lot of people don't do, which is send a message. I definitely have connections where I do not remember even why I connected with them, and that's something that I've been working on, is making sure that when I do connect with someone or accept a connection, that we do have a message, at least one, to introduce ourselves, right? If you're not finding any luck with full-time, apply for internships or part-time. There are so many internships right now that are being virtual. My company actually has all their interns be virtual. They didn't cancel a single internship. They just made them virtual, because if I can work from home, so can the interns, and I think that's really cool. And I know that the interns on my team have had an amazing experience so far in their internship, even though it's been virtual, and they still get paid. So, and applying for internships and part-time can often lead to full-time positions. So you want to make sure that you are adding something to the team that wasn't there before. So that's really a way that one of my internships got extended, is that my projects were helping a lot of people at the company, and they wanted me to finish them. So that's something that I actually am a firm believer in, is that if you have no luck with full-time, apply for internships or part-time, and often they will extend an offer that turns into full-time. And honestly, just apply, and do not be discouraged, please, because you will probably receive more no's than yeses, and that has nothing to do with you or who you are, or you feeling like you're not good enough. That's not what it is at all. It's just that there's a right time and a right place for everyone, and often it's a matter of luck, to be honest, and a matter of who is networking the most, because at the end of the day, it is about who you know. I have so many friends who have received positions just because they knew someone, and unfortunately, that's just the way it is nowadays, with everything being so focused on social media. That's just gonna happen, and there's nothing you can do about that apart from join in and network online. So this is a great time as well, because everything is virtual, right? So networking online is being used so much right now, and you really have to just voice who you are through this process. So finding things that make you different, set you apart, being active on LinkedIn, these are all great things that are going to hopefully help you land a job. Another thing that I want to comment on is be okay with not landing your dream job. Use this as an opportunity for a starting role to build up your dream career. And I'm also a firm believer in that you can focus on the end goal through your daily tasks. And you can use this current position to practice skills that you normally wouldn't practice at your dream company. So, like if you are not comfortable with speaking up in meetings, then you can use the starting role as a time to really speak up, because in the end you may not really care about the company, about staying there long term. So use this time and use their resources so that at the end of the day you can get to your dream company and your dream role. With that, I just wanted to throw in a little story. My friend right now, who also graduated as an engineer is working part-time internship and working nights for a packing company. He is making the best of it. He is still applying for full-time positions as an engineer, but unfortunately COVID just kind of put things on pause for him, and he has been doing his best by networking online. And now we are nearing the end of this video. I'm just going to leave you guys with a few comments, and I just want to reiterate, do not network just for a means to an end. Build relationships with people and connect with them, because especially during this time, a lot of people are online and are looking for ways to fill that void of not seeing people every day, not seeing their coworkers every day. And I know I feel this when I'm working from home, and I love reaching out to people online. So definitely build those relationships. I'm sure that I literally cannot picture an employee at a company that you want to work for being rude and being like, don't talk to me, or just ignoring you. Like, I haven't seen that from my experience, and I haven't seen that with other friends. So reach out to people and read. Oh my goodness, read autobiographies, read biographies, read self-help books. And with biographies, focus on people that you admire, and you admire their career, you admire where they are at in life, and you can really get a lot from those books, a lot of tips and tricks on how you can be to the point that they are now. I'm going to show you some books really quickly that I've really enjoyed. This is actually one of my favorites, Girl on Fire, and I love this book because it really set that passion, relit that fire inside of me to venture out of my comfort zone and be outgoing in my current role that I'm in now and my company. And especially as a woman engineer, I want to make sure that I am voicing my opinions, that I am getting comfortable with speaking up, because that's something that I never did. Especially if you are a female in the STEM industry, then this is a great read for you. This is a book that Patrick, actually my boyfriend, who is a computer science major, he now works for a software company, a software engineering company, and this is a book that he actually got gifted at his internship last summer, but I picked up, and it's no hard feelings, and this is one that I actually really like. If you are a little more on the sensitive side like myself, I definitely take things a little too personally, and I am very sensitive, and that's just who I am, and I totally own that. I'm working on it. So this is a great one to kind of embrace those emotions and embrace being sensitive, because every team needs a wide range of personalities. Now, another one that I'm reading through is Atomic Habits by James Clear, and this is really good. I have not finished it yet, so I don't know how this really ends, but I've been loving so far the topics on self-control, and yeah, this is a read that I can't wait to finish, but this is a little suggestion if you're looking for something to pick up and you don't know where to start, because there are so many self-help books nowadays. And now this is one of my recommended reads that has been on my list forever, and I finally picked it up and I'm excited to start reading, is I Will Teach You to Be Rich. I have not read this yet. I just picked it up, so yeah, this is my next read as well after Atomic Habits. I wanted to pick this one up because I wanted something that wasn't very engineering heavy. It was just different from all my other books that I've read. Just two more things and then I will say goodbye. One of my favorite recommendations to give to anyone is to join an organization. And by that, I mean almost like a club that you had on campus, but now in the professional industry. And for me, it is SHIP, which is Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. And I actually helped start a chapter of this at my university. Now that I'm graduated, I wanted to join the professional chapter. And I am Hispanic. I come from Mexican immigrant parents, and this is a great way to kind of bring awareness to Latinx people in STEM. There is a small percentage of us in STEM, so I definitely have a passion for this, and SHIP focuses a lot on career development and personal development. So I value this organization so much. They also have yearly conferences, and this year it's going to be virtual, which is really cool that they didn't just cancel the conference. So I recommend that you join an organization. They will probably, most likely, have a virtual event this year, if not early next year. So I recommend that if you have something like that you are passionate about, join the organization and find mentors through that as well. I know I have so many SHIP mentors that have helped me so much and that still reach out to me today, and I am grateful for that. So find your passions and connect with an organization that has those as well. And overall, just use this time to work on you, focus on what makes you great and how you can complement those traits for you to fill a hole that an employer may have. There are things that make you different, and you just have to use them to your advantage in networking and landing the job. Like being a first-generation student. I am a first-generation student. It's hard stuff, and that resilience let me really talk about some great things in interviews. So definitely use those topics in your interviews. And some other examples are speaking other languages, having side projects, rock climbing. Not a lot of people do that. Sports you play in college and what skills they help you keep sharp, coding your own games, writing your own book. Honestly, there are endless things that can make you different and do make you different, so use them as you network. You want to make sure that when you do land an interview, you have something to tell them about you and what you have been doing during quarantine to keep you productive and also have fun at the same time. All right, everyone, that is it for today's video. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video, especially if you stuck through it, and I really hope that you got some information, some tip that you could use for finding a job during these hard times. And I really empathize with this. If you need anything from me or you just want to chat or bounce back ideas, feel free to comment down below or message me privately, email me, Instagram message me, anything. I'm very open to talking about this. So yeah, reach out to me if you need anything, and thank you so much. Bye.